everyone. It says we are live. Thank you for coming. My husband says I always forget to introduce myself and say hello. So I wanted to make sure I said hello. If you're in the chat, let us know who you are and how did your classes go today? And today, let me get back to my friends in Zoom so I can see them. You guys can see me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Melissa and Cindy. Thanks for coming today.
Hello.
Hello.
So, can you guys introduce yourselves? Cindy is in my top left.
Cindy Bennett. I've been here before.
No way.
I do have a YouTube channel. You could check it out. And I also have the VIPKid iPad users group. And if you have an iPad, I suggest you use it for a backup and make sure that you know how to use it before you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cindy, I went to your channel today, actually on accident a few times. I was typing in like making slides fun and, making boring slides fun or whatever. And your stars to apples rewards kept coming up and fun
good.
So guys, after we finish here, go check out Cindy's channel for some fun reward tips. I don't even know, those stars to apples and I think a couple other ones that you had on there.
Yeah, I have like a spinner you can do with your phone, and I do one on drawing rewards. Just the last few I've been doing stars to apples because I just kind of newly found it and felt like it did a lot of things that even the Google Slides wasn't doing, just something for a variety kind of thing.
And it's Cindy Bennett 13, right?
Cindy, youtube.com. So this right here, that's what I was trying to set up so I could show you one that I used today that was really funny.
Oh, good.
So that's my stars to apples. And I have this is also for iPad users because you can hook up your iPad to your computer like this.
Oh.
And then you can do a reward on your iPad. So I can do it, like I could do this separately without the connection. But it's kind of nice to have it right on the screen, and you can make this bigger or smaller. This is a make your face reward, make a face. So I'll show you.
You can do things on your iPad and it shows up on there. Is that how it is?
Yeah. So like I can use the touch screen on my iPad, and like I have different faces, but this is one idea that somebody else's idea. So you could take a picture of yourself and then you can like, do funny things. Yeah. And so then like, here's a face and you can go like this. You could say, do you want it bigger or smaller? I mean, I had this girl giggling so much today. It was hilarious. And so, so I have it touch screen next to me.
Ooh.
So so it's just, and you can also do this on your phone. Like you could just hold your phone up and do the same thing, but it's kind of fun. Yeah, that one's kind of freaky, but like I would say, do you want 1, 2, or 3? And then she would tell me which one she wanted. So like, so it's, it takes a little bit of time to just kind of like practice and stuff. But it had her laughing. And so you could do like one thing every 5 minutes. And then this girl, I had tons of time at the end. So you could even do it, you can clear it off and then you could start over and do a whole new one.
So did you use that as a fun reward or was that part of the, what is it, level 2 is body parts? Face?
You could do both. Well, there's another one. There's a monster one that you have eyes, nose, mouth. That might be better, but you could do either one. Now, it's funny because this girl, I have never had her before. And she was doing animals, but I decided I was going to do this for someone else. So I just kept the same reward. And it turned out great because she could speak very well and she would have gone through the whole lesson in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was a really good one to, to do. So it was a lot of fun. So this could work for boys, girls, you could just do a lot with it and have conversation, but also use vocabulary. And you can also, like when I have cam twists, I could also just click it right off.
Mhm.
So if you feel like it's a distraction, you could just click it off and click it on when you want to use it.
That's great.
So yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun.
All right, Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, so I'm teacher Melissa. I have also been here before.
Hi, friend.
Yay! And I have a Facebook page, VIPKid Friends. So join. We have lives, and I try to have workshops, give tips, and just be a friendly group. So you could join that group as well. And I've actually talked at Journey about games and making your lessons fun, keeping the students engaged. So I'm excited about this topic.
And on Thursday, we're going to talk about that, specifically gamifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Gamifying your lessons. Yeah.
And you'll get to meet more or get to know Melissa more because it's an interview also. So, yay.
Oh, yay.
She's like, oh, was that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. And we're going to talk a little bit more about online coaching, like why you should come to the online coaching if you're applying.
Yes, definitely. You know, I always
Yeah.
promote those, I think.
Yeah, my daughter did that. She joined. It's been a while now. I don't know if she's going to re-sign up. She doesn't really do it a lot. She doesn't have a lot of classes, but she did the online coaching. That's how I found out about it. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's take a look in the chat really quick. Hey, Catherine, thank you for coming. And Charles and Karen. Karen's got a question. Does anyone use the new whiteboard on the slides?
I have. I will say that when I practiced with it in materials, I liked it more because I could move it around and I could get it off of the middle of the slides. When I did it in class, it didn't let me move it. And so it just stayed right in the middle. Now I still used it, especially for like a regular who I needed to repeat an exact sentence. In level 4, she's still having some trouble with sentences. So I would type them in there. And you just have to remember to hit submit, because if you don't hit submit, they don't see it at all. Because I just typed it and I was like, okay, can you read that sentence? And she was like, and then I realized I needed to hit submit. And so, I mean, I like it, but for most of my level 4 and 5, like when I would use it, they read out of the chat box. So I'm trying to decide, like, is this better than the chat box? Is this what they want us to do instead of the chat box?
The other thing is is there a trick to getting it off, or is it just, I always felt like it just sticks there?
It's really meticulous, like where you put that hand so you see the X. It's like
I didn't
special.
see the X.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
didn't see the X at all. I've tried it a few times. I thought, have they fixed this yet? Nope, I guess not. Let's keep going.
I heard that in many Facebook groups, like, how do I get this whiteboard thing off? So I didn't try it because I was kind of like, yeah.
That's what's nice about this too, is we have a whiteboard.
Oh, cool.
Right here. So you just, okay, so now it's going sideways. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know how that works. Yeah, I don't know how that works because it switches when I have, okay, probably because my face is vertical. So when I first started doing this, some of the rewards are vertical, so it will switch automatically. So I'll have to remember that when the reward is vertical, the whiteboard is vertical.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So like this one, the reward is horizontal. So now I'll have a horizontal one.
Oh, Charles says he uses stars to apples too.
Yeah.
Charles,
Thanks,
okay.
Laura, thanks for coming. Laura H is here. We have 7 in the chat. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Okay, well, let's get started specifically on today's lesson. Did anyone think of a slide or a certain unit that you find some boring slides in? Does that make sense? What do you have a slide that you find is boring or in a unit? You know, sometimes a whole lesson has many of the same type of slides. Did you guys think of anything coming today?
It kind of depends on the student. I think like some of the level 2, I think the girl was today, like if the kid can read well, there's a lot of really quick, like you put in one word and then you go into the next slide. And if you keep doing that, like today, I was very good with this one because I had a little extra. Plus, this one had the song BINGO at the end.
Oh, I did that one today too.
If I have that song, I know I can give that a good 3 to 4 minutes. And that's kind of fun to teach the kid how to really do it.
Yeah.
I did
So
that one
think
this
that's
morning too
lesson
because
2.
you can do the whole INGO.
Yeah, and I taught it to her because she didn't know how to do it. So that's always fun when they go,
good.
oh,
Mhm.
the light turns on. Yeah, that's level 2.
No.
Level 2, yeah.
Oh, I thought Ella was level 3. Oh, now I'll have to look.
Yeah, this one was the one I had today. It was level 2 animals, animal families.
Yeah, well, farm animals,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I taught that one today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Imagine how many of us are doing that like all at the same time.
Right. Okay, Melissa,
But
what do you have for us? I see you're pulling something up there.
Oh, yeah. So this was one that I had this morning. I'm going to try to make it a little bigger. So basically, this was like lesson 11 where they're reading the R controlled blend words. And so she done this 10 times and she had no problems with this. And so we get to this slide and it was, clearly we're just going to read, all of the words, not just one word from each blend. We're going to read all of the words from every blend that we've done the entire lesson. And so I just turned it into a game. I'm a big fan, like I do rewards. Rewards are for engagement. They're for what the students like to do. But I'm a big fan of making slides in the lesson more fun as well. So you're actually covering the curriculum. So for this lesson, yesterday, we timed it. And so I would pull up my timer here. And we would time how long it took her to read. And then, I would write on it. I'd be like, okay, well, you read this one. It took you 8 seconds. Let's see if you can read You Are Faster. Oh, wow. You did that one in 7 seconds, And so she kept reading faster and faster just to see if she could beat her time for 5 words each time. So that was one thing. And then the other thing, the other one that I would say many times I play a game on sight word slides like this, especially in those older levels when they clearly know the words, right? And this is just repetitive and they can't believe they have to do it again. And I might number them. We might roll a die. I might put a letter. I might try to cover them up and then they have to guess the one that I covered up, or they make a sentence with it. I mean, I probably have like in my toolbox 10 different sight word games just to make these slides more interesting, because you can just see it on the students' faces, right? When you get there and you ask them, read the sight words again. Like, okay. Any, from, put, to, but if you're like, okay, we're going to play a game, and it just they kind of sit up. They're like, oh, really? And part of it with these older students too, is they realize they're not going to have to do it for everyone. Like I'm going to roll a die and they're going to have to make a sentence for 2 words.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have to, we're going to play a game, but they're not going to have to do this repetition, say it over and over again, unless of course the student needs that. So those were my 2 examples that I had recently used.
Good. And I went to, on YouTube, Joy Press. If you haven't checked her channel out, check her channel out. I don't know her. I actually just subscribed today. But she has like VIPKid sight word slides. There's a video on there and she uses the whiteboard, the C and dog, and she has them repeat them. If they can repeat them right away, then she starts adding sentences, maybe one extra word, the dog ran, and then she keeps seeing if they can make their sentences bigger and making
that's
it
good.
more exciting that way. Yeah. So that was fun. She also said use the blank slide at the end because, she said a lot of them can spell like this by looking through their
funny.
She goes to the blank slide.
That's so funny.
And has them write them or has them spell them there. So I thought that was interesting with the sight word slides.
That's great.
Cindy, did you think of any?
Just any slides themselves. I was kind of looking at the lesson that I had today because there's one like you press on the button and it says I'll have to bring it up. It says, you know, the dog ran and you circle it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there is to it. So what do you do with that? Because, you know, so then I will, if something like that is really quick, a lot of them were today for this lesson were really quick, especially like this one was for what do they want? He wants meat, cake, fish, whatever, and it wants cat food. So then I'll just think of something funny, you know, what does Coco want? Or, you know, what does mom want? And then if, you know, you do that for a little bit and then you can ask questions like, does the cat eat cake? You know, things like that. So then you can kind of add something funny to it. And then when they can laugh, then you know they're understanding everything, you know.
I had a kid say, my dad wants food because he's fat. I'm like, oh. Please tell me dad's not in the room, please.
Yeah, and so like this one, this is a quick one too. Can you do that? I can do that. I can't do that. That's all there is to it. Like this whole lesson could be like every slide is 1 second. So I was like, when I was doing this morning, I'm like, this is perfect because this is really quick. And that's what we're talking about today. What can a dog do? A dog can jump. So then I got off and I said, I can jump. And she's like, no, you can't jump. You know, it was just kind of funny. So then you can ask her to jump. You can get them to move, you know.
Well, Cindy, we had a lot of the same slides. I didn't have that lesson, but I had to jump today. I think I was in Peru.
I was really falling asleep for some of my classes this morning. And when this girl could actually talk and carry on a conversation, I was like, thank you. Well, I had one student that she was really slow to reading and she had to read everything. And I ended up taking turns with her. Like I didn't want her to be offended, but we weren't going to finish if she was going to read all of it. And when somebody else is reading and they're struggling through it and you want to be patient, that can be really hard. What do you think?
Yeah. And one of you gave the idea, or we have talked about it many times about popcorn reading, but the words one of you used one time was, tell them like, you've been practicing reading, great job, but now we're going to practice listening. And that is a way that they can, I think you can get away with it more. And I've written that in the chat box for the parents. So I don't remember who it was. It was on one of these collaborations, but I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, and you can make that fun, like with a prop. So I actually have, you know, like a popcorn bucket, and I will say, okay, you listen until it pops, right? And then I'll, you know, hold it up and I'll start reading until I'm ready for them. And then I'll say, okay, pop, pop, you know,
that's
and then
good.
they'll read.
Yeah.
So like I try to make it fun with the, I don't know, with the props, with the engagement with the student. So it doesn't feel so much like you're taking over, because I do have some students in the older levels who that kind of demoralizes them, right? When I start reading, or I'm like, okay, I'm going to read till here. You can just kind of see them internalize. That's because I can't do it, or that's because I'm struggling. Like you can, so I try to make it, you know, this is one of Funny Teacher Melissa's games again. It's called popcorn, you know, and put it on me instead of on them.
Yeah.
So popcorn reading definitely works, but I use those props.
Well, this student, I was glad to see her because like I had like 8 cancellations this morning and I'm like, oh my word, that's terrible. And I looked at it and like 5 of them were for her, like, because I think they were switching days or times or something, you know? So I was like, okay, because I felt like she, you know, we had a good class and she wanted to come back to my class, but so it was kind of funny. So I want to tell people that when you have cancellations, don't look at them each as separate cancellations. It could be they're moving from one class to another class.
Right.
And
you know, a lot of times, Cindy, just learned that, or we've mentioned it before, but a lot of times when they cancel right now, they are adding the supplementary in. They have to, if they want us, they have to book with us, cancel it to add their supplementary in somehow. So this morning I had 7 canceled, but they rebooked with their supplementaries. So I was like, So,
and let them know that. Like, if I suggest this, like, I think Sunny would really benefit from storytime classes where she has to learn expression and intonation and reading, and we're working on comprehension. I can teach that. I am certified for that. Please ask the LP to switch our MC classes to that. And so that way she does stay with me, because what happens, is they listen to us, especially if they've been with us for a while and they trust us. And so that LP gets the reservation or the bundle for that supplementary course, and they book them with other teachers. Because that's what happens. That's what supplementary courses are. They're supplementary to their regular learning with their regular teacher. So it is something that the parents have to ask for, but many of them will. If you, like Kasie said, they will. If you just let them know, they just kind of have to push a little bit.
So do you write that in the feedback?
I do, especially if I'm suggesting it. And many times I will over the summer, because I know they will stop taking their MC classes and take an extra supplementary class. So I'm going to kind of try to get ahead of that. I'm going to be like, okay, this is a good supplementary class for her. And oh yeah, I teach that, just go ahead and let them know. And if they do choose to take it with another teacher, like I also don't get offended. Like, it's good. It's
they might need
for them to hear something besides the Southern Georgia accent, right?
It's true. I need to be with some of your students.
That's right. I'll send them up there.
I love the
Southern
accent. I love the Southern accent. I think it's great.
So Catherine
It's just
and I
not
have
proper English.
Catherine and I have the same idea.
Yeah.
And actually, I have another teacher.
Sorry, I'm frozen.
What's that?
I'm sorry, my thing stalled. Okay.
Oh, it is.
You're good now.
So Catherine in the chat box mentioned the days of the week. So yes, that's what I have written down here. VIPKid level 3 unit 1 has a lot of days of the week, and it's a lot of the same.
And months of the year.
So one of the props I use is this one, and you would write it neater. I just did this before class. Is it upside down, or are you guys good?
It's good.
Okay. One reason I use this is because a calendar shows January, February, March, all the way through December. Well, this shows you that it keeps going.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So having something circular shows them it goes December, January, because one of the tricky things is what month comes before January, or what day comes before Monday or after.
Yeah, that's good.
So to show them that it is a cycle.
Yeah, that's good.
Teacher Yvonne has, she was in the Nancy Taylor course with me. She has a video, VIPKid level 3 unit 1. I think it's Make It More Fun or something like that. And she specifically talks about this lesson. She says the first thing she does is celebrate, because they're in a new level, right?
Right.
3 unit 1.
Yeah, that's good.
She says she celebrates at the beginning so that if some of these slides can go quicker, it's okay, because she's taken up some time with celebrating and letting them know what a great job they're doing. She also showed a way to ask, what's the first day of the week? What's the third day of the week? Just with cards. So her cards all had like a color on them, and they pick a color, she turns it around, and it says first. What is the first day of the week? So she's not going through them all, but she lets them choose, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more fun. So hopefully some of these tips will help you, Catherine. And another thing she did.
I have these from Amanda Panda.
Oh,
I think these are from her. I think they're from her. I don't know. I printed them offline.
Awesome,
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think that she made them. But like, I'll do like this and just go like this, or then I'll open it up and do it like that. That kind of.
Yeah, that's a great tool.
I like these, and I didn't laminate them because then I don't have to worry about the glare.
So I
Another
use
one.
Google Slides a lot in that unit. Fun rewards and the props. It's like it is the unit where I will use both. They're going to see Google props, they're going to see a Google reward, and we're going to be silly. And about half the time I get a struggler. So we're really going to focus on before and after and pronouncing the days right and pronouncing February right. I mean, and so then I go right to 25 minutes. But if I do find that I have an advanced student that I can extend with, again, I just kind of like Cindy said with the quick lesson she had this morning, be a little silly, well, does Saturday come before Wednesday, and they just think it's funny, especially if they're younger, they'll laugh and they'll be like, no, teacher. I'm like, oh, what day, and then I do a lot of trying to relate it to their life. Because if they're bored and they're uninterested, but you relate it to their life, you're going to see their participation rise. Yeah. So, we'll talk about, well, what day is it today? Well, what did you do today? What day was it yesterday? What day will it be tomorrow? And so I'll add in those words, which aren't really added in the first few lessons. They do come in, but in the first few lessons, I'll go ahead and kind of pre-teach that and get them talking about the days and what day it is and what month it is. And I don't know. I find that if you get them talking about themselves, they're less bored.
Definitely. I was writing down a lot about rapport because I think having the rapport at the beginning can help set you up for success during these lessons too. One thing she shows in her video, it's on the same lesson. So it's still level 3, unit 1 is all the capitalizations, right? So she said, if you use the whiteboard and you write, oh, today is Monday, right? And they're like, no, teacher, big letter. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you kind of throw in the capital D and they're like, no, For some of them that understand the concept, they know they want this M. So they're really going to have to use their words to get it from me.
That's cute.
Oh, that is cute.
And she said, do it to their name too. So, I might write Cindy. Cindy, I love you. And I might add the big Y at the end.
No, that's not right, teacher.
Right. So even just something simple like this.
Look at my name. My name doesn't even have the right spelling. Seriously.
Seriously.
My kid probably did that. I don't remember doing that.
So yes, just using something simple as a whiteboard so that you're not all focused in those slides, on those slides, but you're still teaching the concept can add just a little bit of fun and something new, something different. I think that's part of it, right? If it's not the same thing over and over again, then we kind of tend to make it more interesting. So
I like your whiteboard, and I like the whiteboard on the Stars to Apple. I think that's one of my favorite parts about these rewards is having that whiteboard right there. So you can easily go back, like this is a find a star, but you can easily go to the slides and then you go back. So it's kind of nice. You can do it for math or writing.
I love this whiteboard because I love that it's a paddle, but I have such a hard time cleaning it. If you don't clean these off right away,
they stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to get
so here's my Meg from like 2 days ago when I drew Meg with a student.
You're gonna have a hard time.
And this is the one I used in coaching, and I don't think that it hasn't come off in weeks. And I don't know that it's gonna come off.
You know what works? I think like nail polish remover, even though that's something like that. Yeah, try that. There's something about the chemical of it, like or you can write on it with your marker, and then
I have heard that.
Oh, so Liza, I think I said your name right, Liza. She also said days of the week and months of the year. Yeah, those are tough. Oh, you like the calendars. So yeah, it's just a toilet paper roll, guys.
It's awesome.
And you can use it for, if you put 2 together, I'm not going to do it now, but if you put 2 together, you can have the blends go around it too. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
The BL and then the different sounds, you just keep moving it. Yeah.
And I use it for birds because
You
hollow
could even
bones.
do that for this.
And I'll put like it's hollow, you know. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you could use it paper, easy enough. Yeah.
Or just
If you
put
tape
some
it in a circle,
cardboard
that
in
would
it.
work too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cardboard.
good one. See, we're always trying to learn
So
something new.
smart. You know, college isn't a waste of time.
No.
My dad was so funny. My parents did not go to college. So when we came home and we didn't know how to do a lot of practical things, they'd be like, and you guys went to college. So that was the big joke. Because we knew books and we knew things like that, but we didn't know anything. You know, if the power goes out, we had no idea what to do and stuff like that.
Right. One thing Teacher Yvonne shows on her YouTube channel, she has a very cute calendar. And she's like, oh, puppies, January. And she's getting them to do the months of the year with a cute calendar that she has made. So
good idea. Yeah, I haven't made a calendar.
I show a calendar with my family, with pictures of my family.
Yeah. Well, I know some people were talking about not wanting to waste paper. So I know some of you on here have seen that I use the document protectors. If you print out a blank calendar and just switch it up every month, you can do before, after with the actual day that it is now. Yeah. Instead, if you don't have a calendar and you don't want to keep printing them out, just print out a blank one and make your own every month or so.
That's
a good idea. Just slide in a document protector and use a dry erase.
So with this one thing I do as well is, well, I talk about what happens. Like it's December, but that's Christmas, right? And so my picture kind of correlates with the month of December is Christmas. And like in, you know, the month of June, you know, we go to the beach, it's hot, it's summer. And so I use these pictures, you know, October, it's the fall. So I can use the pictures on our family calendar. Of course, this is from a couple of years ago, but it still works because it kind of helps them correlate what's happening in that month that you're talking about, that you're learning. And it's a good extension if they're there, right? You know, so you know that December comes after November, what comes in December, and then I can kind of help them hold up that picture. What comes in December? Oh yeah, Christmas comes in December.
Cute. That's a great
I just
idea.
think it's so funny because you even say December differently.
I do.
I would say it's December, but you're more like December.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to keep that in mind.
Am I wrong? Now I'm going to Google that.
Well, it is December, but it is, you know, the Southern accent, but you can, you know, when I'm talking to you, it doesn't seem different that much, but just think about a little kid, you know, when they have, because when I first came in to the company, I didn't really think about people having different accents. And then I remember seeing on the Facebook pages that, you know, oh, I taught a Southern kid today, you know, or a kid that was taught by a Southern teacher. And I think, you know, to keep that in mind, because you don't want to be like, why are they saying that word differently, you know, because it could be how they were taught by someone else.
When I taught ESL in Japan, the students would come to my house and everything, and I had to learn how to slow my speech down because, as some of you New Englanders know, we talk pretty quick up there, and also put my R's in. So I had to really focus on putting my R's in some of my words, and there's still a few that fly out, but
well, where I live, we do, like, my grandmother is from the woods of New Hampshire, so she was, for fork, she would say fork.
Yeah.
We got that R.
Can you get me a fork?
You know.
See, now I can.
But that's where VIPKid ease comes in. You know, people always talk about VIPKid ease, like people talking, but I kind of think that's how we're checking ourselves. Like we're going to say it, I say it a little slower, then I'm going to pay more attention to the pronunciation of all the letters or syllables in that word when I say it slower.
And my conversation with you guys is a lot different than with them. Yeah, you know, so like you guys. I don't say
that. Even that's a lesson. We say you guys because
we say y'all.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But not in class. Not in class.
Not in class. Exactly. So that's
Why
what
not? Why not say, hey, we call it
Liza said, she says December. December.
Wow, I'm not even down there. You guys are great.
December.
Now you made me self-conscious, Cindy. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Laura H.
You can go listen to it. Report back. Tell us what you find out.
Laura said, I'm trying to be super creative about getting students to want to learn to read. I have a couple of adorable students who speak so well, but are not interested in reading. Any ideas? Laura, have you done popcorn reading or echo reading? I think popcorn reading is fun if the student knows how to read a little bit. And echo reading is more for those strugglers or getting expression out of them. So what do you guys think?
I have one student that he loves to take turns. He can read, but even today I was like, if you want stars, you need to do some of the reading, and it's funny, if they're young enough, they do respond to that, and you don't have to say it like, well, you don't get stars, you just, hey, if you're working on getting stars, you need to do some reading. And he just went with it. So sometimes just saying a little something like that, because it's their work.
And break it up, especially if they're older and maybe in the level 4 or 5, right? And they're a little overwhelmed by those 3 paragraph slides that come up. Break it up. You could use your whiteboard. You could use the stars to Apple thing that like Cindy had. You could pull up whatever this is called on minicam, but then especially if I can, I'll make myself bigger and then I'll just type the one sentence here, so they I just want them to focus on this one sentence, and then I'll praise it and I'll be like, good. And then maybe the next time I'll type in 2 sentences, the next time 3 sentences, and then I'll go back to the slide and I'll be like, look, you've only got 1 sentence left. And so that sense of accomplishment, like, oh, I read all of that and only have that sentence left, makes them a little bit more willing to participate when you click over and there's 3 more paragraphs, right? And you can remind them, but remember, you just read that whole other slide in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and whatever it was, and see if they can do this one a little faster and a little faster. And I don't know, competing against themselves, not really anybody else, I think is highly motivating for those upper level students.
I think another thing is first, then. Once my students know first, then for one lesson, they it can be for many lessons. So first you read this slide, then you get a star. Or first you read, then puppy, and then they can earn the puppies. It's not just 5 because, some of those have tons of reading, tons of, story slides, I guess. So, another little bag of trick, using first and then. And you can use that for many things. First we do this, then we do this. Yeah. I don't know. That's just my little.
Laura also asked about the reuse, recycle, reduce lesson in level 5, which is repetitive. It's like, how can you help the earth? How can you clean the earth? What pollutes the earth? And it is like, I mean, I really think for 12 lessons of that unit, it is so repetitive.
Yeah.
So I do, like, teachers, you can go off slide, right? You can kind of go off script. If you are on a slide where you're going to ask the same question that they answered on that KWL chart and the first and second slides, then don't ask it again. Ask something different.
Yeah.
That is, in some way related to the lesson. Carry on that conversation and then put it in feedback. Level 5 parents love that. Sunny really understood what polluted the earth and how we could help today. And so when we got to slide 6, we extended and had a conversation about the types of trash, right? We talked about plastic or paper or metal and what we could do with it. Or I brought up some pictures of recycled art. This is a new, unique way we can recycle. We can make art out of metal and out of newspaper and, show them all those different kind of statues. And the parents love that, because then you're able to show them that you extended, you taught them something extra, and you kept their student talking.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is, you can even extend with the reward. Like I know Google Slides has a really cool reward with recycled art that's really cool. And then the Stars to Apples also does things that you can do with to recycle different parts of trash, things, art that you can make out of trash. So that's what I was going to say is I try to, especially with the older kids, try to make it the reward and extending type activity, whether it's, do a face and you're extending that way, or for recycling, I have the recycling projects type thing. And you can also draw things at the end of the class. You can draw something that went along with the lesson. I don't know. I think it's really hard right now talking about like, do you see trash out in the park? Because kids aren't going to the park as much anymore. Like, I think it's really hard to ask them questions about everyday life because they're not doing that much.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is hard about right now.
Right now it is. You're right.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you do today? Nothing.
I know. And what do you like? Oh, how about your friends? What friends? I don't have any friends.
Did you see your friends? No, teacher. Like, are you really asking me that again? No.
And they don't use their computers a lot either. Like, which is good, but that means they're really not talking.
I find they're very strict over there with you're going to be on your screen just for school. They're not. Yeah. Even my kids who might have played a little bit of computer video games or like handheld games, they aren't now. Their parents are like, you're on the computer for school, you're on the computer for VIPKid classes, and that's it,
Yeah.
So they're like, I had to read. That's what my Coco told me this morning. I had to read. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, good. What'd you read?
Fun book or was the book so-so?
Did you like the book? Did you?
Yeah. Some of the kids love reading. Like that's like their favorite thing to do, which I think is really cool.
Not Coco, but some kids.
Not Coco. I wonder. I had a Coco. I had 2 Cocos that I miss. But I had a Coco today, and I'm like, maybe it's the same one, but it wasn't. She was cute.
Lori said, I'd love to let them be the teacher and ask me and make a mistake to practice listening skills and have them correct me. I have a level 2 that is always teacher Kasie. I am always Helen. She is always teacher Kasie.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. I love it. I love imaginations.
Dollar Tree had double-sided whiteboards. Oh, nice.
Yep.
Hand sanitizer will take it off. Oh, good. Thanks, Catherine.
Hand san. Okay, because it's probably the
alcohol. I'm
gonna
try it.
Probably the alcohol in it.
Jason,
although I tried the writing on it with another marker, and that worked too.
Oh, that's what I usually do with. Oh, I do that with Sharpie. I've never tried it with dry erase on dry erase.
Yeah, because this is pretty stuck on there. But if I if I cover it over it with this and then wipe it off, it comes off. I'm like, thanks. Yeah, look what I learned today.
He has a southern accent. If you watched my Men of VIPKid, you will hear his very thick southern accent.
I saw it. I had to see Jason because I've seen him in the chat box so many times. I'm like, I have to put a face.
So now we can put a face with a name, Jason. Thank you. Let's see. The northern accent is incorrect many times as well. Oh, I agree.
Oh, come on. Seriously.
Oh, Cindy.
No, actually, I did speech in my Christian high school in New Hampshire, and I went to South Carolina for speech, and all of my speech teachers were very strict about. I may say, you can let me know if I say some words wrong, but pretty much both my husband and I have our accents pretty much taken out. Yeah, he had a really big accent. It was funny.
My kids called me out when they were younger, like, Mom, you're speaking Boston. And I'm like, oh, like it's a whole nother, language.
Yeah, it is. Boston. Well, the thing I crack up about is people in the movies, they can never get the Boston accent correct. I just crack up at them trying to do it because it's never right.
So we just have a couple more things to go over, but I know Melissa is here and she's got family in town visiting. So
okay.
Melissa, thank you for taking your time out and coming to hang out with us. So,
thank you guys.
We'll see you soon. Bye. Jason said he catches himself saying, I reckon in class.
I reckon. Okay. Funny. So
Laura,
we should try to talk Boston right now. It's just the two of us.
I don't know. We have the Boston language. Our very own.
I don't know if I can, but I know we always said park the car in the Harvard yard.
Yes, when I was active duty, so many people were like, "Can you say park the car in the Harvard yard?" Like all the time. So I started practicing putting my R's in when I lived in Florida.
Yeah. Well, when we play outside and well, this was his group. Like a lot of times we played in the street. I never see kids doing that anymore, but we would play right in the street. And then if a car is coming, you just go, car, CAR, stick your head in a jelly jar. And then they would just move to the side. You never heard that one? And you're closer to Boston than I was.
I've
Yeah.
always said like, game off, game on.
Yeah. So it's just so funny to think about.
Yeah.
It was such a good little life. We played jump rope in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just don't see kids out that much anymore.
I know. Laura said, I have done everything. I taught my own children to read. Great. I have tried to teach them to read the most simple of words, and they have no interest. They are adorable and have been passed along. Marriage.
What is she saying? Her students, her VIPKid students?
I have tried to teach them to read the most simple of words, and they have no interest. They are adorable and have been passed along. Maybe like other teachers are passing
level 3.
Let's see. Oh, so sorry, Laura. I would scaffold way down to phonics games for vocab and objective words and skim over the reading. And Melissa answered what she would do. Good. Unfortunately, many students will be passed on. I show you YouTube video. Laura H shows. Oh, sorry, Laura. I'm behind on the thing, so I'm not.
I just wanted to say that there's two ways of doing it. You can slow down to help them and just try to do a little bit on each slide so that you're not doing, skipping stuff.
Yeah,
but do a little bit less on each slide so that you can actually teach them the reading. Mm-hmm. And the other approach is to do what they can, and that's how they do it. Like, don't try to compare it to anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Good.
Because some kids are going to fly through it. Like I had one girl last week, she could read anything, and I'm like, how do you know you speak so well? Do you have a family member that you speak to? Do your friends speak English or whatever? But she just does it on her own. Like at night, she'll just do little plays, and she just practices on her own. Yeah. And some kids don't do that. The only time they speak English is during VIPKid class. So they're not going to be as good at it. Mm-hmm. So
let's see. I think we got through all of this was on my using the same vocabulary. I think we've already talked about that. Some things that I was thinking about was to personalize each lesson. You want to make sure if you can bring in their life and their stories to the class, I think it helps add some fun to it. It's not just the same, the dog ran. Oh, does your dog run? And, all of the things, bring in their own little, or
sometimes you'd be surprised if they have a dog.
Yeah.
Or if they don't have a dog, ask if they have an animal. Like I've had kids with a turtle. Yeah. Kids with a rabbit, things like that. You'd be surprised. And if you don't ask, you won't know. Right.
I had one that has the mom dog had 5 puppies. So she's like, I have 6 dogs. And I'm like, 6? And then all of a sudden she's like, ow! The puppy was biting her toes.
Oh, cute. She was
trying to take class. It was so cute.
Cute. Yeah.
Oh, you use my videos. Oh, thanks, Laura. You're so sweet. You're saying it right in the chat. I just was having trouble keeping up with where I was at. So I think, Charles, thanks for coming. Let's see. I'm so bummed I missed out on meeting Laura. I need to meet her. Let's see. And then the last thing I wrote down was bring in different props. So sometimes I use Google Slides for the flashcards. And if it's like the dog ran 100 times, I might show it on the Google slide and then show, my dog running bring in different props, bring not always the same 2D props or the same 3D props. I think mixing it up really helps. So
Right.
that is really all I have, other than I wrote down make sure to build rapport at the beginning. So what do you think, Cindy? Did we miss anything?
I think that's pretty good. I think that, the fact that you individualize it, like I even with the older kids, I
Mhm.
had one kid and like I'm looking really close and I'm like, I think that looks like soccer. And so I asked my husband, is that soccer? Is what team is red? And he said Manchester United. So then I'm looking for soccer reward and
Yeah.
and then I had that on my mind to talk to him and boy, he brightened right up.
Aw.
So yeah. So that's good too, is to look at the notes and see if there's anything in there that can give you a clue that can, you know, just kind of draw them to you and open them up.
Good. So I did want to ask the people in the chat, if you have any ideas for us, let us know. We still have I think maybe through July or mid-July that we have our topics already scheduled. But if you have ideas for us, we'd love to hear them. You can add them to the chat or put it in the chat, after this video, or you can email me at casey.oswald@gmail.com.
And if you email me, I'll let Kasie know.
Okay, and what's your email? Let's put it out there.
Norman Cindy 13, Norman Cindy 13 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. So there you go. So
And there's also these would you rathers. These are always good for conversation.
Yeah, I feel like Amanda Panda's props and rewards come up on here a lot. She couldn't be here today. She said she's coming back next week. But I will tell you that many of us use her props. I know Jason in the chat uses them too.
Well, I got these when you interviewed her. When you
Yeah.
interviewed her, you suggested this and I got them.
Yeah, and she's got some really good ones. My stop and go was from her. And, I always love this bathroom one. And I think this is probably one of my most used props from her. And she's going to have to correct me.
Oh, that's good.
I'm pretty sure this came in the set that I bought from her. But I use these on so many levels, especially level 2 when you do all the food.
She has a lot of free printables too in her.
Yeah. And I know Cindy knows this, but I didn't know you can go into a lot of these Facebook groups and there are tons of free props. Like I didn't even know you can get fun stars and things.
Oh yeah, tons.
Yeah,
what is it? Is it props and rewards?
I think I got them from props and rewards. Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing like one a week for a while there. Oh, those are so cute.
And I just put these little clips on them and I put the back up and I have a hook and I just have them on a hook right here next to me. So on a command strip so I can just pull them off. So that's it. A little bit of free props and some shout outs here today. So I hope everybody had fun. Let's see. I see 7.
And don't forget drawing rewards. Drawing rewards are great too.
I'm terrible at them, but I love them.
Yeah, they're really fun. I have like these where you can do little steps. It gives you like 1, 2. I have a couple videos on drawing rewards.
I was just going to ask you that. So after this live, guys, go check out Cindy Bennett 13 on YouTube and take a look at her drawing rewards. Her Stars to Apple rewards are great too for if you're thinking about trying those.
These are fun for the kids to do also. Like you could do it and the kid do it, or you could do it yourself. Either way.
Right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you, Kasie.
Monday collaboration. And thanks, Cindy. We'll see you next week. Bye.